Did you know that the cost of commuting in Ireland can be the same, if not more than a flight ticket to London? Let me break it down for you. An adult daily train ticket from Dublin to Cork costs around €60. A simple taxi ride within Dublin costs around 20 to 30 euros. Even monthly leave card costs way more than you can imagine. In this video, I'll be talking about one of the reasons why Ireland is rated top 5 most expensive countries in Europe. Hi besties, welcome to my YouTube channel. Please like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time. Thank you. A friend of mine shared her experience with me, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys with her permission, of course. So she resides in Laois but works in Dublin. She would leave her home every weekday at the crack of dawn for work because living in Dublin was never an option for her. Of course, rents in Dublin are extremely high. So like many others, she chose to settle in a town outside Dublin. But that decision comes with its own price, which is the cost of transportation. My friend's daily routine involves catching a train from Laois to Dublin. A return ticket sets her back 25 euros every single day. At the end of the month, she spends nearly 500 euros just to get to work. On top of that, she still needs a leave card for the occasional bus or tram in Dublin, pushing her total transportation cost even higher than 500 euros every month. And don't forget that sometimes the trams are overcrowded or delayed. That means she would be left with no choice but to take a taxi to make it to work on time. Those trips are even worse. If you go to Dublin often or you reside in Dublin, you would know that nearly every taxi trip in Dublin costs around 20 to 30 euros. The next option she might want to consider is driving. But again, driving to Dublin isn't much better. Fuel prices, tolls, and parking fees quickly add up, making it just expensive as public transport, if not more. The worst part is my friend is not alone. Thousands of people commuting from Wicklow, Sligo, Laois, Kildare, to mention a few, are stuck in the same cycle. With no affordable housing in Dublin and transport costs that driver rent, many feel trapped. Sometimes it's funny to think that it's cheaper to fly to London than to get to work. But deep down, it's frustrating because by the time you get home after a long day, you feel drained, not just by the daily commute, but by how much it's costing you to make a living in a city you can't even afford to live in. But the big question is, why is transportation in Ireland so expensive? Ireland's public transport system is not as extensive as in other European countries. With a relatively small population spread out across the island, it is hard to make public transport profitable. For example, trains and buses often run with fewer passengers in rural areas, but operators still have to cover costs like fuel, maintenance, and staff salaries. To make up for this, ticket prices in busy areas like commuters' routes to Dublin are usually high. Also, much of Ireland's transport infrastructure is outdated and costly to maintain. Train lines and buses require constant upgrades to keep running, and the funding to improve them is limited. Plus, Ireland imports much of its fuel, which means rising global oil prices hit transport costs hard, leading to higher fares for passengers. Another reason why transportation in Ireland is so expensive is because public transport operators have to pay hefty insurance premiums and taxes, which are passed on to customers. Meanwhile, alternatives like driving aren't much better, with tolls, parking fees, and fuel costs piling up quickly. The hardest part of this is realizing how much of a vicious cycle it all is. High transport costs discourage people from using public transport regularly, which means operators struggle to break even. Without enough demand, it's harder to invest in improving services or making tickets cheaper. For me, I feel like transportation in Ireland is not just expensive because of inefficiency. It's expensive because the system itself was never designed to be affordable. Fixing it would require major investments, bold policies, and a shift in priorities. But until then, the high costs will remain a burden on the very people who rely on it the most. So how do we fix this? Should Ireland invest more in public transport, or are prices here to stay? Let me know what you think in the comment section. See you in my next video. Bye.